Then you married again when you were 61, I think, right?
Yeah.
To actor Richard Lawson, and divorced after almost 10 years. And our friend Tyler Perry, in the book you talk about, told you something. What was that? He told you about that?
He just told me that I told him what happened, and he loves Richard also. And he was like, I'm very sad to hear that. And I said, but, you know, this marriage is not bringing out the best in me. And I have finally found my worth, and I know that I deserve to be happy. I know I deserve for somebody to be happy when they see me and to celebrate me. And it's not doing it for me. It's bringing out the worst in me.
And the good thing is that Richard is not a grudge holder. He's not, you know, he won't hold a grudge. I love that about him more than anything else. He probably holds a grudge. He probably does hold a grudge.
I don't.
But you never see it. So he can be so mad at you, and then he'll come and say, you want me to bring you something to eat? And it's so sweet. So he just gets over it, and he doesn't.
Child, Miss Tina must have done a number on Richard Lawson, because what do you mean he is willingly backing Mathew Knowles against Tina? Mathew has been catching heat for what he recently said about his ex-wife, but he's not backing down, and now Richard is hinting that Mathew might not be wrong. According to him, Tina Knowles was basically the Kris Jenner of the music industry before Kris Jenner became a thing. Yes, she did help build Beyonce's empire, but behind the scenes, she caused far more damage than the fans ever realized. So what exactly are Michael and Richard accusing her of? Okay, so Mathew Knowles has been doing a whole lot of interviews lately, and in his long media run, he did an interview with Pix 11. Now, this interview was aired in January, but somebody got their hands on a portion of the interview that was not aired and leaked it. The whole thing took Mathew by surprise because he had specifically asked for that portion to be taken out before the interview was posted. So someone must have seen it and thought it was juicy and decided to unleash chaos.
You've earned your flowers. I've said the same thing to Tina Knowles. You guys put in the work, and obviously the talent was there with your kids and your grandkids.
What work did she put in?
In the hair, clothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the styling.
The styling.
The imaging, you're right.
She claimed to have preyed on the name, and different aspects of that.
Sure.
So, yeah. It's a joint effort.
We'll stop now.
Mathew immediately went into damage control mode and blamed everything on the interviewer, claiming that he never said and would never say anything disparaging about Tina.
What I said, and I'm actually quoting, what work did she put in? It was a question. Look, I don't do interviews, Carlos. I have conversations.
Yeah.
And I have the right, as you know, I'm a college professor. I didn't know what he meant by that. So I'm saying, calmly, what work did she put in? That was a question. I don't know how that became a comment, but it was a question. And then the gentleman went on to say her hair. Well, Tina did way more than just her hair. And if you look at the interview, I said her hair. No, she did the styling, built the image for Destiny's Child. Wouldn't you agree that that's way more than just saying someone did the hair? People try to bait us all the time to be against each other. There was a complete misrepresentation here, and I'm evaluating all legal remedies at this time.
But child, even before Mathew could come out and clear the air, the internet had already begun tearing him a new one and singing Tina's praises. A lot of people talked about how Tina was holding the family down with her hair salon when Mathew quit his corporate job. And also, what about the outfit she created for Destiny's Child when there was no one else willing to style them? Not only that, Tina was really a part of the vision for the group from the start, and they even talked about how she came up with the name and provided some normalcy for them while they were young girls. As much as folks came to her defense, Tina couldn't help but take a swipe at Mathew in the most Tina way possible, Joe. She posted included a video someone made acknowledging her contributions to the group. That was a shade, and Mathew did deserve it because of the way he treated Tina. He should not have had anything bad to say about her. Mind you, this man cheated on her multiple times and had the nerve to have babies on her as well. And downplaying Tina's role in one of the biggest girl groups to ever exist was never going to be a good move for him. But Tina still took it a step further and released another video talking about how she doesn't care that people deny her impact and she's going to continue to do her thing regardless.
What advice would you give women who are still discovering their power, even with men in their lives who may discredit that power and their contribution?
I have been through some tumultuous times in relationships, but one thing has been constant, that I keep it moving. No matter what is going on in your personal life, you have to work, you have to make a career for yourself, and if you have children, they have to be your first priority. So you just keep it moving, you keep doing you, and and everything will be fine.
And yeah, Mathew can keep quiet enough to take the first jab, but the second one, he really wasn't there for that at all, because to him, he didn't say anything out of order or messy. And as much as Tina did contribute to Destiny's Child and Beyonce's empire, there were reportedly a couple of times where she was a threat and Mathew had to step in and reel her in.
Beyonce was 7 and her dance teacher put her in a talent show with bigger kids, like all the way up to high school. And I was like, that's not fair because she's only 7. And she went in and she was shy. And I mean, she got on that stage and commanded the stage. And my husband and I were like, who is that? Because the confidence came and the joy, I could see it. And so she felt so confident. She said, well, I just want to get my trophy. I'm hungry and I want to go home. And I'm like, you don't know if you won. Like, sit down and chill. But it was something that happened on that stage that I had never seen before. So I felt very confident.
And get this, while Mathew was cheating, Tina was also allegedly doing her own thing. Beyonce's former vocal coach spoke out about this in his book, where he said, I soon discovered that although unhappily married, Celestine was not suffering all by herself. Going over to the main house to retrieve my keyboard one afternoon, I happened upon Celestine kissing a man. I recognized him immediately, Richard Lawson, a famous actor. The startled Celestine had no choice but to introduce me. Talk about awkward. She was supposed to be at her salon. I extended my hand to Richard, telling him how much I admired his work. Girl, listen, there is a lot that can be said about Tina, but one thing we all see clear as day is the way that she treats Beyonce. According to Mathew, Tina cares more about Beyonce's image than even Beyonce herself because she lives vicariously through her. And when you think about it, that kind of explains why Tina was always so quick to come for people who had anything less than positive to say about her daughter, while Beyonce would typically stay quiet. By the time Tina realized that her chance had passed for her and saw that Beyonce could be the lead of Destiny's Child, Tina channeled all of her attention to Beyonce, even if that meant leaving everyone else bitter about it. As Destiny's Child gained popularity, Tina reportedly pushed for Beyonce to go blonde, since that would make her stand out from the rest. And as if that wasn't enough, the rest of the members were encouraged to tan so that they could appear to be significantly darker than Beyonce, allegedly. And guess who was making the push for the girls to tan?
I did have to tan a lot. Tan a lot because they wanted Beyonce to be the lightest one?
I mean, Michelle, I, and Kelly tanned sometimes. So.
Wow. And Beyonce wouldn't tan?
Wow. Not unless we were at a beach.
Also, when it came to the styling and wardrobe, the internet noticed that although their outfits were coordinated, they weren't exactly identical all the time. You can say that every outfit showed off each member's individuality, but how come Beyonce's always ended up looking the best? Since Miss Tina was in charge of their wardrobe, it wasn't hard to see why she would have had some bias towards her daughter. This caused major rifts in the group. And Tina's whole bias towards Beyonce went beyond Destiny's Child and began to affect her relationship with Solange. Because of the preferential treatment from the start, Beyonce and Solange didn't really see eye to eye on a lot of things. If push came to shove, Solange will always back her sister. I mean, she did slap the living daylights out of Jay-Z about her sister some years ago in the elevator. But over the years, their relationship has noticeably deteriorated after Solange came to realize that even when they were grown women, she was still treated miserably in the family. After Beyoncé's history-making run at the Grammys in 2023, fans noticed that Solange didn't bother to show up to support her sister. The only thing she talked about were her upcoming projects. Beyoncé's Renaissance album showed that their feud was at an all-time high because Solange wasn't featured on the project at all. According to insiders, that sound was right up Solange's alley, and it was the perfect opportunity for the sisters to work together. But Solange wasn't involved in the process at all. And did y'all notice that Beyoncé basically thanked everyone except for Solange? And B is media trained enough to understand the implication of that. And she still went ahead to do it anyway. Word is that the reason that we don't see Solange or Beyoncé or Tina as much anymore is because she decided to take herself out of the competition because she knew that Tina would always choose Beyoncé every time. And Richard is basically saying the same thing. This is the exact reason why he divorced Tina, because he could not keep up with the way that she behaved and looked down on others. Like, do y'all remember the time when Tina embarrassed Richard in front of the whole world when she said that he wasn't the perfect man for her?
I envisioned the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities. He has a lot of the qualities that that I love, and we're having a really good time, and I'm enjoying life. So there is hope, women.
Did you see the look of disappointment and embarrassment on that man's face? Reacting to this, people left comments saying, "I remember that interview. It was so disrespectful. She really humiliated him. If she could treat him like that in front of people, how does she speak to him when no one else is around?" And one thing that struck Richard was how eager she was to be a star. And that was part of what attracted him to her, since Richard is an actor. However, when they got married in 2015 and Richard got a front row seat into what goes on in her life, he saw just how much Tina had attached her own existence and identity to her daughter's success. Throughout his relationship and marriage to Tina, Richard saw how she put Beyoncé in situations all the time because she wanted to use her daughter's fame to gain some notoriety for herself, since that was something she wanted all along. I mean, do you remember how Beyoncé was moving from country to country and hotel to hotel, and Jay-Z was chasing after her after news got out that he had cheated on her? The thing is, Beyoncé had already taken Blue Ivy and was living her best hotel life with no intention of coming back. And she would have stayed gone for good if it wasn't for Tina supporting Jay-Z and pressuring Beyoncé to reconcile, because that power couple status was much more important. I mean, she even wrote a whole love letter praising Jay-Z, which is odd considering that this is the same man dragging your daughter through cheating allegations and even more serious rumors about Diddy and other artists in the industry. And then there was this shocking blind item recently that reported that Beyoncé is done with Tina and wants to escape. The source says, industry insiders have been whispering about this for a while. If you're wondering why her bodyguard chased after her at the big award show recently, it's because singer has threatened to flee the country multiple times. She's done with the control, the pressure, and the handlers who make every decision for her. They're afraid that she'll leave without notice, and they're right to be. Singer suffers from depression and has S thoughts. Her team sees her as a danger to herself. But what they're really afraid of is losing their cash cow. They've kept her under control for years, but they won't be able to much longer. She's on the verge of rebelling. She's fed up with her mother's control. She's tired of her husband's influence. The source also claimed that this is why Beyoncé has been going hard these days and doing everything she can to make as much money as she can. And speaking of dragging Beyoncé, insiders have also let it slip that most of, if not all of the awards that Tina Knowles has received were reportedly bought and paid for by Beyoncé, since that was something that her mother always wanted. Now, buying awards isn't anything new in the industry, but when you think of what Tina Knowles has done, is it really worth the number of awards that she's received? If there's one example of this, it's when Tina received the Mother of the Year award at the Billboard's Women in Music event in March 2025. I mean, what of the what? Has such a category ever existed until now? And if the criteria is that you have to have birthed a star and helped build their career, then the Billboard needs to roll out the red carpet for Katherine Jackson, since she also gave birth to legends. And the thing is, these are things that no one really talks about because Tina has already mastered the art of using Beyonce as a shield. So even if there's something valid to say about her, the Beehive would immediately attack, since coming for Tina is like going for Beyonce too. And the people are actually agreeing with this. Here's what they have to say. What is Tina Knowles famous for? Oh wait, because she's Beyonce's mom. I've always thought they tried to make Kelly less pretty so Beyonce could be the standout. Tina knew better than putting red hair and colored contacts on a chocolate girl. But what do you think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.